For Black History Month, I'm going to use my devotional time to talk each week about a different saint from the Black church from African American history. And I want to talk today first about a woman named Pauli Murray. I first heard about Pauli Murray from a friend in law school who told me about this amazing woman who had been first in her class, I think the only female in her law school class, and who went on to write important work that was cited in the Brown versus Board of Education case, who coined this term of Jane Crow to speak specifically to the discrimination she faced as an African American, but also as a woman in the United States. And that was the first time I heard the name Pauli Murray. And then a few years later, I heard from a seminary friend who told me about this amazing woman who had had a law career and then late in her life had been ordained as a priest in the Episcopal Church the very first year that the Episcopalians ordained women. And it took me a little while, and finally I put these stories together and I realized they were about the same person. Pauli Murray was born in 1910, and she grew up, excelled in school, and tried to enter the University of North Carolina Law School, but was denied because of the color of her skin. She went on nonetheless to have an important legal career. She wrote this book about segregation laws, which was called The Bible by Thurgood Marshall when he was preparing for the Brown versus Board of Education case. Throughout her law career, Pauli Murray struggled with her sexuality and gender. And if she were alive today, many people think that she might refer to herself as transgender. She had these nicknames for herself. She called herself Paul and Pete and Dude, and she sought hormone therapy for years to no avail. So she had this experience of being on the margins in a few different ways. Late in her life, she undertook this other calling. She entered seminary in New York City and sought ordination. This was, of course, before the Episcopal Church had ever ordained a woman to the ministry. And nonetheless, Pauli Murray discerned this calling and went forward and broke through another barrier in her life. And she said this beautiful thing at the end of her life when she was finally ordained. She said, "All the strands of my life had come together, descendant of slave and slave owner. I had already been a poet and a lawyer and a teacher and a friend. Now," she said, "now I was empowered to minister the sacrament of one in whom there is no north or south, nor no black or white, no male or female, only the spirit of love and reconciliation drawing us together toward human wholeness." Praise be to God today for Pauli Murray. I'm going to put a link in the description below if you'd like to learn a little bit more about her life.